Alrighty, guys, welcome back to the Left of Str8 Show interviews, the premier podcast that shares the stories of our amazing LGBTQ community and, of course, fantastic straight allies, all from entertainment, foodies, books, music, and advocacy. I'm your host, as always, Scott Fullerton, and let's start talking. Welcome back, friends, for another great interview today. You know, I love to dive deep into the lives and careers of people I consider some of the most fascinating figures in entertainment. Today, we have a very special guest joining us in studio. Jake Allyn is here. Jake is a multifaceted talent in the industry, known not only for his captivating performances on screen, but also for his skills behind the camera as a writer, producer, and now director. You might recognize Jake from some of his multiple roles in movies and popular TV series like The Quad and The Baxters, where he showcases versatility and depth as an actor, and now he's taking on a new challenge with his latest project, Ride. This exciting new film Jake not only stars in, but also directed and co-wrote and features an impressive cast, including C. Thomas Howell, Annabeth Gish, and his co-writer Josh Plass. Ride tells the story of three generations of bull riders and their struggles and need to raise money for the family. It's a gripping and emotional journey that's a story that lets fiction shine a light on some Americana reality. Let's dive into Jake's journey, but first, take a look.
When that chute opens, all my pain, all that emptiness just goes away.
Let's go!
For 8 seconds, it's like all I gotta do is hold on.
Well, looky there, old John Hawkins boy. He's fresh out the joint, you know. He don't ride like Daddy did.
Hey, Doc. My sweet baby girl.
John.
Virginia's cancer is back.
That's $160,000 you'll owe.
What the hell am I supposed to do now?
I think we should start a conversation with Peter. We turned our back on him.
Yeah, in my day, the goal was to stay on. Trying to go pro or win that cash.
Don't win that money.
I think Dad is freaking out about money.
Champs ain't made riding. They're made in them few seconds right after they fall.
My dad, I don't want to know what he'd give up for Virginia.
We got ourselves a Texas-sized showdown.
I know you'd do anything for your sister, but everything is important to you.
Am I talking to my wife right now or to the sheriff?
You stand for everything. Family, faith, and strong American values.
Let's go!
We're not perfect, but we're trying to do what's right no matter what it takes.
No matter how hard you fight.
I don't need help raising my daughter.
Whether you make 8 or not, the bull always chucks you. Always.
I am a bull.
Well, Jake, welcome to the Left of Str8 Show, my friend. Thank you so much for joining me today. Congratulations on the new film, man.
Man, thank you. I appreciate you having me.
Well, it was amazing. I appreciate you sending a little advanced screener for it. I'm so excited for you opening wide for a directorial debut, my friend. You knocked it out of the park. Congratulations.
Oh, man, thank you. I mean, this was a movie that, I worked on for about 8 years. And honestly, being from Texas and kind of growing up around the rodeo community, cowboy community was something I really kind of had in my heart my whole life. So I just wanted to make a good one.
There you go. Well, you did it, my friend. I mean, one of the things I love about you, I've been a fan for a while now, and the things that I like is you really vary in your themes as an actor and behind the screens. I mean, you've gone from racial prejudice to religion to addiction and family. And I think you've really I've seen behind the scenes interviews and red carpet interviews, you really kind of put your heart into everything you do. So thank you for that, guy. You did a great job.
I really appreciate hearing that because I do put my heart into everything that I do. And you know, it costs me a lot, you know, but I always tend to find it's worth it.
Well, it's definitely appreciated. And I got to talk about the family theme here. I mean, we got to transition to this new film of yours. I've talked about your brother, working with him a few times before, both in front of him, behind the camera, and writing for him. And now you have your dad as producer. You have one of your best buds as a co-writer.
Yeah.
Talk about, I mean, just an LGBTQ podcast that we talk about chosen family a lot. Talk about now being a director and being able to choose your family as opposed to being an actor and everything. How was that to choose this amazing cast you have?
Oh man, I definitely go in because I've worked with my family so closely, and you know, I really believe that movies in particular are a very intimate thing to do. And if you're making an indie, you know, you're not going to be able to pay your way out of problems. You have to create your way out of problems, and you have to come together no matter what. And so I've just always believed with indies, whether it's in the cast or with the producers or with the crew, yes, you want to find people that are really good at their job, but you want to find people that you want to wrap your arms around, that you want to go to battle with, you know. And if you can find that group that's going to interlock arms and just move forward above all else, that's usually how you end up making a movie, even though you might not see it on screen. You know, you'll feel it.
Right. Well said. And I mean, like I said, the cast is amazing. I've been a C. Thomas Howell. I'm of a certain age. I remember renting it into Blockbuster, his original film. So I've been around a while. What a treat did that have to be, speaking of family? I mean, his dad was a professional bull rider and stuntman.
Yeah.
This had to be kind of a great moment for him as well.
I hope so. You know, again, to go back to the indie thing, it's like when you're making an indie, you got to be able to give actors something incredibly challenging beyond, you know, the paycheck, beyond how nice their trailer is going to be, because you just can't, you know, be able to provide that level, you know. And so I knew with C. Thomas, he's a great actor above all else, you know, taking away his cowboy background, you know what I mean? He's a amazing actor. And honestly, one of the reasons I really wanted him for this role was actually I saw him do an arc on Animal Kingdom, season 1 of Animal Kingdom. He played this, I think it was you know, some type of Navy commander who kind of gets screwed over by, you know, by the family and gets taken advantage of. And he just did such a wonderful job, I remember, of playing this, you know, Navy soldier with so much honor and pride. But then when he gets worked over, the pain that he kind of the pain that he was able to show as an actor. You talk about an actor who really gives his whole self to every role. I mean, that's C. Thomas Howell in a nutshell. And it was actually that role when I saw him do that, and then I saw how real of a cowboy was his whole life. I was like, oh, that's John Hawkins right there. And I was so lucky to have him as an actor, but really a filmmaking partner throughout. You know, he's got so much experience, and he'll, you know, just make every scene better.
Oh, that's fantastic to hear. I mean, like I said, powerhouse. I mean, Annabeth Gish, I've been a fan of forever. And you and Josh, I don't mean, you just wrote some powerful scenes. I got to tell you, there were 3 scenes specifically that just had me kind of going, oof. But I mean, when
I gotta hear this.
Thomas is singing at the hospital and you're outside the doorway, totally blown away. I think when Annabeth and you are in the jail scene is amazing. And then at that first AA meeting, I mean, just writing those scenes, incredible work. Talk about getting into these characters and creating this world. How amazing was that? How much did you and Josh collaborate on these? And wow, so good.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. It's always nice to hear specifically what scenes kind of hit home for people. Um, I mean, the first one where you know, John ends up singing this song to his daughter, you know, at the moment when Peter's finally kind of worked up the courage to come visit her, you know, only to kind of be left stranded in the hallway, not feeling worthy of going in the room. And again, to go back to Tommy, you know, that was again a wonderful collaboration of this story and this script that Josh and I had cultivated. But also, once Tommy came on, you know, Tommy had already, before he even knew about this movie, had written a song called Ride about him and his daddy. And he mentioned it to me, you know, kind of like could we find a place for this in the movie? Should it, I mean, it can't be coincidence that I just wrote a song called Ride. And my gut immediately went to this moment in the hospital where, why don't we have him singing this song to Virginia? And we kind of ended up making it the family song that everybody in the family knows, that goes way deep in their history together, but has obviously kind of gotten twisted over time, as things have evolved with the family. And that's really, I think, a great example of how scripts evolve, to where, me and Josh were working on this script for 8 years. And then it wasn't until, 2 months before we started shooting that we heard about this song. And it's like, other writers might be like, no, we've got the script. We're done for 8, but it's like, no, it's the script's coming alive. Like, that's when I think it turns from good to great, hopefully. And every actor did that. Annabeth opened up with stories about her life. Forey, you mentioned the AA scene, Forey tells his story to begin that AA scene, or thou, I should say. And, I happily admit that I wrote 0 of that. That is Forey J. Smith telling a story about his life and the demons of his world, and sleeping and rodeo and nightmares and alcohol, and why mess with the truth? Well, you know what I mean?
That's amazing story. Oh my goodness. And I'm so impressed too. I mean, I watch a lot of films. I'm a film reviewer and everything. So a lot of first time directors really do some great parts, right? But you got your dialogue with your casting and the music. You talk about the music with Ride. I mean, just a chef's kiss. Every bit of that music was so perfect for that. I mean, I don't see many first time directors get every element right. And you did a fantastic job, my friend.
Dude, this makes me feel really good. I think the beautiful part about directing that I've learned is you get to take pride in every ounce of the movie. As an actor, you're waiting for your scenes, and it builds up a lot of pressure. I think that's why actors don't necessarily always like to watch themselves on screen, because it's just like, that's all their focus is their acting. So it's all they can watch and care about. Whereas the director, you get to sit back and, enjoy an actor's moment, enjoy a cinematographer's shot, enjoy a location that you found at the last minute, enjoy what a little tiny detail that the wardrobe designer brought. And of course, with the music as well, I was very lucky, so lucky that, obviously C. Thomas with the song that we mentioned from him, and also Lacey K. Booth, a musician from Texas who plays Libby in the film, a young country singer in the movie.
So good.
Bones Owens, who has 4 original songs in the film. And then, of course, our composer, MJ Callahan, who's the band Those Who Ride with Giants. And all of them were attached to the movie more than a month or 2 in advance. And I felt like that was for me, again, like you mentioned about being a first-time director, I was like, okay. And I admit, I don't know jack about the technical aspects. I don't know anything about music and chords and whatever. I know what I like. I know what makes me feel. I don't know about lenses. We would always joke on set where, the cinematographer Keith Lehman would be like, yeah, let's get a 16:9, are you good with that, Jake? And I'd be like, nah, make it a 17:48:9. Like I had no idea, but what I knew is that I cared more than anybody else. And in that, I was able to go out to artists super early in the process. Again, to use MJ, our composer, as an example, or Bones, I was talking to those guys months before we started shooting. And that is just something that indies don't have. Usually you're scrambling to find, a little bit of money to just find a composer after you've shot. And, I shared the script with MJ, again, a couple months in advance. He was making pieces before we even started filming. And it allowed us to make a really unique editing process where there are scenes in the film that came because of music, because I had some piece of music that I shared with the editor. And then the editor would just go create, you know, and it just, I don't know, it's just a very unique collaboration that, again, I think paid off.
Well, like you said, it's family. When you have that trust in people you're working with, I mean, whether chosen family or family you've worked with forever, it's great to have that. And you have that kind of, you had that unique kind of perspective where not only are you directing and writing and starring this, but you've done different aspects of that with your brother in different films. Did you find anything more challenging than you thought it would, or was it a little easier than you thought it might be going into it?
I hate giving this answer, but it was a bit of both.
Mm.
You know, in some ways, I certainly never would have drawn it up to also act in the first movie that I directed. You know, I think on paper that was pretty stupid. And I would agree, like, you know, if you're being smart and you're an actor and you want to direct your first movie, yeah, definitely just concentrate on directing. I mean, that totally. That's just not the way it ended up going for this. It wasn't really the plan. I didn't write this in order to act and direct. It just kind of just so happened that that was going to be what was best for the movie by the time we decided all those roles. But in one capacity, it was easier because I found I wasn't wearing 10 hats. I was just wearing one, and it was a cowboy hat, and it was trying to make a good movie. And like, I really tried to create on set of just like, I was just a guy trying to help make the best movie with everybody, whether that was me acting in a scene or directing or writing or producing, or, you know, just like, let's take all the multi-hyphenates and throw them in a trash can and just go make a good movie. I really, really tried to do that. And honestly, the better people that I brought along just made me look good. You know, like I'm thinking about Forey telling his story, C. Thomas bringing so much cowboy authenticity. I mean, Annabeth Gish, the kind of subtlety in which she played this sheriff, cop, mother. You know, you talked about the scene in the jail cell. I mean, Annabeth and I only have one scene in the whole movie, and that was it. You know, and that for her to come in and put a lifetime of relationship, history and pain and love into, you know, a page of dialogue was, I mean, that, you know, I can't overstate how amazing that is from her.
Well, Jake Allyn, I have about 50 more questions for you, but you have a busy week in front of you, my friend. The film is opening wide and video on demand this week. We're going to be airing this a couple days after, but congratulations again. And man, just congratulations. I think you did a great job. Thanks for spending the time, and keep at it. Do you have another project that you're working on now?
Yeah, I'm hopefully in the fall, I'll go direct my next movie, which is called Dixie Crystal, and it'll star myself and Rob Morgan. And it's an Appalachian crime thriller about you know, the fall of coal and the rise of addiction in Kentucky, and it's inspired by a real life FBI Operation Dixie Crystal that took place. It was a drug task force that took place in Kentucky in I think 2019. So gonna go to the hills.
You will have to be back, because I have, like I said, I usually do 45-minute interviews, and I know you're on short time today, but I appreciate your time, my friend. Congratulations again, guys. The film is Ride. I mean, such great connotations with the bull riding community and ride or die. This family is a ride or die family. So congratulations on the film.
Thank you, man. I'm sorry if I cut you short.
It's all good, man. Keep it going. Keep it going. We appreciate it. Have a great day.
See ya.
Thanks for listening to The Left of Str8 Show. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast distributor, and please give us a 5-star rating so more listeners can find us. You can follow us on social media, and be sure to check out our website for contests and other news and information. See you next week.